Jared, would you start us off for preliminary?
Go ahead.
Okay.
We're working on doing a prayer resolution.
Oh, okay. Understood.
If I fall over, just kick me off.
Okay.
That would be up.
We'll try to be a little more gentle.
You better kick me hard if you want to lick me out.
Or you want it?
Yeah, I just want to have one with me.
Oh, you want one? Oh, I see. That one.
We'll begin on page 6. Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lesek vivin alav chen banu muvein laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani b'tzamaho. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shasani ben chorin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam albi sharumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokev kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokal ha'aretz alamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asali kol sorkihi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechim mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer yisrig b'gvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter yisrig b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten le'ayif koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavir sheina me'ena utnuma me'afapai. Utenenu hayom v'chol yom l'chenu l'chesed l'rachamim v'nechu v'nei kol reinu v'tigmalenu chasadim tovim baruch atah Adonai gomel chasadim tovim li'amo Yisrael yiratzon milfanech Adonai Elohai v'lavatai me'adam rav ribon kol ha'olamim lo asikotenu אנחנו מפילים תקנונים לפניך. תרדם מן הבהמה עין כי הכל הבל אבל אנחנו עמך בנבריתך. לפיכך אנחנו חייבים להודות לך אשרינו מה טוב חלקנו מה נעים גרור אלינו מה יפה ירושתנו אשרינו שאנחנו משכימים ומעריבים מערב הבוקר ואומרים פעמיים בכל יום שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד אתה הוא עד שלא נברא קדש את שמך ומקיש שמך וקדש את שמך בעולמך בישועתך תורים ותגביה קורנית בברוך אתה אדוני מקדש את שמך ברבים, אתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו בשמיים ובארץ. לך אבינו שבשמיים. שובי את שבותיכם לעיניכם, אמר אדוני. Continue on page 16. Baruch Shema v'haya ha'olam Baruch Hu Baruch Oseh v'reshit Baruch Meheveh Oseh Baruch Ozer Umkayem Baruch Merachem al ha'aretz Baruch Merachem al ha'beriyot Baruch Meshalem Sachatov l'reaf Baruch ha'alad v'kayam la'netzach Baruch podeh u'matzil Baruch shemo Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam For Moshe v'chasidav v'avodav v'shivrei David avdecha Ha'achich ha'olamim melech meshubachim for adei ad shemo hagadol Baruch atah Adonai melech muhulav atishbacho And we continue on page 21 with Ashrei. Shreish vevetecha yalu chasela, shrem shekachalo, shrem shedanai lo havtihila leDavid. Tilat Adonai Yadaber Pi Vivorek Kol Basar Shem Kachol Lelam Va'ed Va'anach Nevarcha Metavid Olam. Hallelujah. I'll use the Hadar Chavra, music Chavra tune with this one. Hashomer Emet Le'olam, Hashomer Emet Le'olam, Hashomer Emet Le'olam. Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Hallelujah, nafshi et Adonai, ahalalai Adonai, bechayai azamra lelohai, be'odi el tiftechu v'ndivim, beven adam she'en lo teshua, tetze rucho yashuv liadmato, bayom hahu avdu eshnotav, Ashrei she'el Yaakov be'ezro sivro al Adonai Elohav oseh shamayim va'aretz et hayam v'et kol asher bam hashomer emet le'olam hashomer emet le'olam hashomer emet le'olam hashomer emet le'olam. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Oseh mishpat lahashukim, noten lechem larevim, Adonai matir asurim, Adonai pokeach ivrim, Adonai zokef kefufim, Adonai ohev sadikim, Adonai shomer et gerim, Yatomi almanaya oded, v'derech reshaim ye'avet, Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Yitzion l'dor v'ador. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hashomer emet le'olam, Hashomer emet le'olam, Hashomer emet le'olam. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Page 23, Psalm 147. Hallelujah, Kito Zamar Eloheinu K'neim Nabatihila. Magid Ravekov Chukav Mishpatav L'Yisrael Lo Asachen L'Chogoy Umishpatim Ba'yada'um. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallel Adonai Min HaShamayim, Hallelu B'Amromim, Hallelu B'Kol Vayorem Karen Le'amoti La'lechu Chasidav L'Bnei Yisrael Am Krovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Shir L'Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shir L'Chasidim. Asor Malchim Zikin B'dik V'dehem V'kavle Barzel. Asopahem Mishpakatu Hadarhu L'chol Chasidav. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Halu B'kacho, Halu B'kirya Uzo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. B'tzil tzilei shama. Hallelujah, hallelujah. B'tzil tzilei trua. Kol anshama tehallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol anshama tehallelujah. Hallelujah. Baruch Adonai Lama Meimi Amen. Baruch Adonai Mitzvah Shecheni Risham Hallelujah. Baruch Adonai Elohei Yisrael. Osenav Levado Varikshim Kavodo Li'olam. Yamlei Kavodo Et Kol Haaretz. Amen v'Amen. Please rise on page 26. Varek David Adonai Le'nei Kol HaKol. Ma'olim l'shem tifartecha, tahu Adonai levadecha. Atahu Adonai ha'Elohim asher bacharta v'Avram, v'otzeto me'or kasdim, v'samta shemo Avraham, u'matzata et levavo neman lefanecha, v'charov imo habrid. Vayam bakato lifnehem ya'avdu b'toch hayam vayabasha yetrot vehem hishlachta v'imsalot kamo even b'mayim azim vayosh Adonai bayom ahu et Yisrael mi'ad Mitzrayim vayar Yisrael had Mitzrayim me'al sfat hayam vayar Yisrael et hayat hagadolah asher asa Adonai b'Mitzrayim v'yir'u ha'am et Adonai v'yaminu b'Adonai Uva Moshe Avdaho Az Asher Moshe Uvanei Yisrael Et Asher Al Adonai Vayomru Lemor Asher Al Adonai Ki Ga'o Ga'a Sus V'rochvo Rahama Vayam Ozi V'zimradya Vayehi Li Shua Ze'eli V'yanavehu Elohei Aviva Roman Menhu Adonai ish milchama, Adonai shemo, Markavo paro bechelo, Yaram vayam, Umifcha shalosh yadim, Eben mimikana navachor, Mimikana, Michamocha Melimananai, Michamocha Nador Bakodesh, Nordi Lodo Sefele. Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed, Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed. Hiladanam lucha Moshe bagoyim v'alu Mosheim v'har Tzion lishpot et har Esav v'aytalanam lucha v'ayadon melech al kol haaretz v'yom ha'yenan echad u'shemo echad.
I'll pick up at this point. We're on page 29. Yishabach Shimcha La'ad Malkeinu Brachot v'horaot me'ata ve'ad olam Baruch ata Adonai El melech gadol batishbachot El ha'horaot Adonai neflaot Ha'bocher b'shirei zimra Melech elchei ha'olamim. We're seated in the middle of page 30. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvarei choshech osei shalom uvarei et hakol hamilah artzad. El Baruch Adonai Chinu v'Ratzonei Chama. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al shavach ma'asei yadecha v'amrei she'asita yifaruch ha'sela. Titbarach Tureinu Malkeinu v'goaleinu borei kedoshim yishtam. Kulam ahuvim, kulam berurim, kulam giborim, vechulam oseim be'im avir aratzon konam, vechulam potchem et pihem, bikdusha uvtahara, beshira uvzimra, umvarchim, meshavchim, umefarim, umaritzim, umakdishim, umamlichim, את שם האל המלך הגדול הגיבור והנורא קדוש הוא. וכולם מקבלים עליהם על מלכות שמיים זה מזה, ונותנים רשות זה לזה, להקדיש ליוצרם בנחת רוח, בשפה ברורה ובנימה קדושה, כולם כאחרונים ואומרים ביראה, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. והאופנים וחיות הקודש ברעש גדול מתנסים לעומת צרפים לעומת המשבחים ואומרים ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, לאל ברוך נעימות ייתנו למלך. אור חדש על ציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו, ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות. אהבה רבה אהבתנו אדוני אלוהינו. והאיר עינינו בתורתך. והביאנו לשלום מארבע כנפות הארץ, ותוליכנו קוממיות לארצנו, כי אל פועל ישועות אתה, ובנו בחרת מכל עם ולשון, וקרבתנו לשמך הגדול, סלע באמת, להודות לך ויחדך באהבה. ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. אל מלך נאמן. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, והיה ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים לחיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת ויציבך. לדור ודור הוא קיים ושמו קיים וחיסו נכון, ומחותו ומרתו לעד קיימת. אמת שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, מלכנו מלך אבותינו, גואלנו גואל אבותינו, יוצרנו צור ישועתנו, פדנו מצילנו מעולם שמך. אין אלוהים זולתך, עזרת אבותינו אתה הוא מעולם. תהילות לאל עליון ברוך הוא ומבורך משה ובני ישראל לך אנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות עושה פלא שירה חדשה שבכל גלים לשמך על שפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ופדי חינומך יהודה וישראל, גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Silent Amidah begins on page 36b.
We'll turn to long tachon for Thursday, and as we do, just I'll offer one small framing remark. As I read the parsha this week, and something that Rabbi Shapper and I will be discussing with folks on the retreat, we have a hard time deciding sometimes whether whether Esav is a good guy or a bad guy, and sometimes whether people who drift in and out of our lives are there to help us or are there to fight with us. I guess I'm always searching for the wisdom to do a better job of figuring out, on the one hand, how not to be taken advantage of, but on the other hand, how also to make sure I'm open to receiving what people are bringing me. So that's my framing thought, my framing meditation for Tachanun this morning, and we'll continue with one of the selections either on 59 or the pages after, and then we'll resume together on page 63. The top of page 63. Shomer Shomer Yisrael, Shemor Sherit Yisrael, Ve'al Yovad Yisrael Ha'omrim, Shema Yisrael. Shomer Shomer Goy Echad, Shemor Sherit Am Echad, Ve'al Yovad Goy Echad, Hamiyachadim, Shimcha, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shomer Shomer Goy Kadosh, Shemor Sheiritam Kadosh, Ve'al Yovad Goy Kadosh, Hamashalashim, V'shalosh, Kedushot LeKadosh. Ozreinu Elohei Sheinu al Davar Kavod Shemecha V'Atzidenu V'Chaper Chatoteinu L'Ma'an Shemecha. In lieu of a Torah service, we will read this morning's reading. We're in Parshat Vayishlach, and we will let's see, time element 8:30. Okay. I'll say a few words on the parsha and on what we read. If we're in Eitz Chaim, you're here on page 198. If you're just looking in your Sidur, it is on page 271. Thank you. 271 in the Sidur, 198 in Vayishlach, and we. Better use the one on my phone because I know it's up to date. We will dedicate our reading and study this morning to a number of individuals who are in need of blessings for healing and wholeness. Among them, Alan Apfelbaum, Michael Basson, Rick Baum, David Bernstein, David Ben Miriam, Keith Bookbinder, Moshe Shmuel, Ben Yoshua V'Chana, Marty Cohen, Moshe Yosef Ben David Alevi, Kevin Cole, Greg During, Pam Gardner, Howard Galbart, Natalie Gerstein, Sheila Ginsberg, Rabbi Sim Glazer, Rena Chazoni, Bill Hoffman, June Howard, Kelly Ennis, Trey Jones, Steve Carmel, Yisrael Gedalia Ben Peril, Michael Katz, Vanessa Lear, Bobby Levin, Nada Lipson, Rabbi Jeffrey Marker, Harav Yaakov, Yisrael Mordechai Ben Chanav Yosef, Jane Meltzer, Richard Meltzer, Michelle Mintz-Menke, Ellen Miller, AJ Mogenberg, Anna Morlock, Amit Netanyahu, we took him off, Paula Nevins, Pesach Bat Yisrael Ve'edka, Sarah Singer Nuri, Lee Patrick, Robert Perry, Amy Rothschild, Jonah Rubenenko, Yona Ari Ben Esther, Judy Schechter, Bobby Schnitzer, Ellen Shumros, Philip Shane, Jerry Schockler, Chanat Gittel Bat Vayenta, Ward Smith, Barbie Tomeno, Bracha Bat Hadas, Alan Turner, Paul Wapner, Kathleen Ware, Ruth Winger, Bruce Wazatsky, Judy Workman, Yehudit Bat Moshe, Pearl Zucker, Tzipar Bat Malka, Gabriela Chana Bat Devar Shoshana, Michael David Ben Tamar, Yaakov Benjamin Ben Gittel, and additional names. For all these and for all who are ill, we say, Mishiberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'mitenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Yivarech v'Yarpeh kol hacholim ha'ile. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yamalei Rachamim Alehem Lachazikam L'Rapotam v'Yishlach Lehem Mehera Rufua Shalema Amin HaShamayim Rufat HaNefesh Rufat HaGuf B'toch Shar HaCholim v'Chazek Et Yedei HaOskim B'tzorcheihem Hashta Ba'agalai V'Zman Kariv V'Nomar Amen. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Kiddushanu B'mitzvotav V'tzivanu La'asok B'divrei Torah. וישלח יעקב מלאכים לפניו אל עשיו אחיו ארצה שעיר שדה אדום ויצב אותם לאמור כה תאמרון לאדוני לעשיו כה אמר עבדך יעקב עם לבן גרתי ואיחר עד עתה ויהי לי שור וחמור צאן ועבד ושפחה ואשלך להגיד לאדוני למצוא חן בעיניך וישובו המלאכים אל יעקב לאמור באנו אל אחיך אל עשיו וגם הולך לקראתך ו400 איש עמו וירא יעקב מאוד ויצר לו ויחץ את העם אשר איתו ואת הצאן ואת הבקר והגמלים לשני מחנות ויאמר אם יבוא עשיו אל המחנה האחת והיכהו והיה המחנה הנשאר לפליטה ויאמר יעקב אלוהי אבי אברהם ואלוהי אבי יצחק אדוני האומר אלי שוב לארצך ולמולדתך ואיטיבה עמך קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך כי במקלי עברתי את הירדן הזה ועתה הייתי לשני מחנות הצילני נא מיד אחי מיד עשיו כי ירא אנוכי אותו פן יבוא והיכני אם על בנים ואתה אמרת היטב איטיב עמך ושמתי את זרעך ככל הים אשר לא יספר מרוב. So, we see a dramatic confrontation coming up. We alluded to it last week, that we see these 400 men coming with Esav. So Yaakov understands that he is potentially very much in danger, coming to into this confrontation. He leads off with gifts, attempting to propitiate Esav, that good 50-cent word that we used many times in our Parsha study group this week. And ultimately, he doesn't just turn to Esav, though he doesn't just rely on Esav's good graces or how to get into them with gifts. He's also turning to God. But the way in which he turns to God is a rather interesting one. He demonstrates a level of piety that we haven't previously seen from Yaakov. We don't see this sort of, I'm throwing myself before God and I'm going to beg for something. We haven't seen that before. But it's also interesting the format that this takes, and we talked about this in our Parsha group this week as well. He opens in verse 10 with, O God of my father Abraham and God of my father Yitzchak. He first begins by establishing a relationship. And then he turns to, I am unworthy of all the kindness that you have so steadfastly shown your servant. He throws himself, he puts himself down a few notches in the process of addressing God. And then we get to the point. Verse 12. Deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esav. So it's a request, and of course the rabbis don't like the repetition here. From the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esav. We knew who you were talking about. We would have known. It's extraneous. So why is it said? Well, we want to be very sure that there's clarity here about exactly who he's talking about, just like we have in the case of Kachna et Bincha Yechidcha. When God tells Abraham to offer Yitzchak as a sacrifice, he's very specific about exactly what he's talking about there. So similarly, too, you might have a reply. You might say, "Oh, the hand of my brother. Maybe God could not deliver him from the hand of Esav, deliver him from the hand of someone else." No. We want to make sure that we're precise about that. And then he says, "Else I fear he may come and strike me down, mothers and children alike." Which, I have to say, knowing Yaakov and knowing his nature and how we've seen him sort of push and trick and manipulate at times, that trickster's not entirely gone, even from our good pious, Yaakov, excuse me. Our pious Yaakov here, who's made this turn, he's still thinking, mothers and children. He wants to make sure that he mentions the part that you're going to, really going to identify with. Please, won't someone think of the children? And so he brings that up there as well. And then he also has one more turn that's also a little bit more like the Yaakov we know. Yet you have said, I will deal bountifully with you and make your offspring as the sands of the sea, which are too numerous to count. And it's that last part that we think is maybe the truest Yaakov coming through. He says, look, how are you going to do this? You've told me that I'm supposed to be numerous. I'm supposed to be prosperous. My offspring are supposed to be prosperous. So you have to save us. If you want to fulfill your word, you've got to do this. But that in that order, that identify who it is that you're talking to, identify who you are in relation to them, that you're much lesser, make your request, and really push it in at the end. It's a format that we see elsewhere, used for bakashot, used for requests, and to a certain extent, we can actually see our service, our Amidah, the order of the Amidah, modeled after something along these lines. And we certainly see, on the weekday Amidah, the bakashot, the requests that are packed there in the middle before you return to something else and take your leave of God. So, an interesting parallel there to prayer and liturgy in a more general sense that we learned from this week's parsha. We'll turn now to Ashrei, which is on page 78. Do we have someone who might like to lead Ashrei? It's comfortable chanting in front of people. David, thank you. Ashrei ha'am shekacha lo, Ashrei ha'am she'Adonai Elohav. B'chol yom avarecheka v'ha'olah shimcha le'olam va'ed. Dor l'dor shabach ma'asecha u'gviratecha yagidu. Ve'ezu zoratecha yomeru u'gdilatcha asa prena.
Chanun v'chum Adonai, erech apayim v'gdal chesed. Yoducha Adonai kol ma'asecha, v'chasidecha yevarechucha. Lehodia libnei ha'adam gevurotav, v'chvod adar malchuto. Somech Adonai lechol hanoflim, v'zokef l'chol ha'kfufim. Hoteach et yadecha, u'masbir l'chol chai ratzon. Karov Adonai l'chol korav, l'chol asher yikra'uhu ve'emet. Shomer Adonai et kol ahavav, et kol harshem yashmid. Va'anachnu nevarech yach me'ata ve'ad olam, hallelujah. Psalm 20. Steve, would you read for us?
Son of David, may Adonai answer you in time of trouble. May the God of Jacob be your strength. May God send you help from the holy sanctuary to save you from God. May God remember all your offerings and accept your sacrifice. Granting your heart's desires and fulfilling all your hopes. We shall sing of your deliverance. We shall acclaim the glory of our God. God might fulfill all that you ask. Now I know that Adonai will deliver him in life. God will answer him when he sends on the road. Making victory with mighty deeds. Some trust in chariots, others in horses. But we honor the name of Adonai our God. They stumble and fall, but we rise and stand. Adonai deliver us.
Uval Zion Galashesh v'Yakov Neum Adonai v'Anizo Briti Otam. V'Ata Kadosh Yoshivti L'Yisrael v'Kar Zel Zel v'Amar Kadosh 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 Adonai Tzvot Melech Ha'aretz Kavod. V'Tisa'eni Ruach v'Shma Charai Kol Ash Gadol Baruch Hu v'Adonai Mi Mekomo. Guys. Adonai Hoshea Melech Yaneinu v'Yom Kor'enu. Page 81. I'll read in the second paragraph in the English here. Praised is our God who created us for his glory, setting us apart from those who go astray, giving us the Torah, which is truth, and planting within us life eternal. May God open our hearts to his Torah, inspiring us to love, revere, and wholeheartedly to serve God. Thus shall we not labor in vain, nor shall our children suffer confusion. Baruch HaGever Shiftach. Yiftechu v'chayodesh shmecha ki lo azavti doroshecha. Adonai Adonai chafetz l'man tziko yagdil Torah v'yadir. Turn to page 83. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol la'atek gedula li'yotzer bereshit shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדם שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שאינו תשמעים ויסוד. כן נקווה לך. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Just a moment, we'll conclude our service with the Psalm of the Day. Before we do, just want to note today, the 18th of November, the 14th of Kislev, we're observing in our community the yard sites of Harriet
Simon Moses C. Portnoy, and Roger A. Wilkenfeld. In addition, in the remainder of the week, tonight, tomorrow, we're also observing the yahrzeit of Joseph Meyer Fish, Lena S. Katz, and Emmanuel Weiss. And our community thinks of and continues to think of those we've lost in the last year. Among them, Helene Katz, Evelyn Seltzer, Pat Keeler, Marge Reiter, Amy Perlman, Norm Epstein, Paul Bassa, Steve Blyer, Bernie Kiwi, Ron Kabikoff, Dan Geyer, Charles Albright, Bernie Slavet, Elaine Beagleson, Frank Grossman, George Fisher, Selma Cohn, Sally Prager, Lori Gupp, Ben Koff, and Alfred Horvitz. Yehi Zichram Baruch, may their memories be a blessing. The psalm for Thursday is on page 89. Do we have someone who'd care to lead for us? Rabbi Barnard, would you read for us? Thank you.
On the 5th day of the week, the Levites recited this psalm in the temple. The leader upon the Kitita psalm of Asaph. Sing with joy to God our strength. Shout with gladness to the God of Jacob. Strike up a melody, sound the timbrel, play sweet tones on harp and lyre.
Sound the shofar on the new moon and again on the full moon for our festival days. It is the law for the people of Israel, a statute of the God of Jacob. God ordained it for Joseph's descendants when he rose against the land of Egypt.
I have heard the speech that I had previously ignored. I removed the burden from their shoulder. Their hands were free from the load.
When you called out in distress, I rescued you. Unseen, I answered you in thunder. I tested your faith at an oasis in the wilderness.
Hear this warning, my people, Israel, if you would only listen.
There shall be no strange God in your midst. You shall not worship an alien God. I am Adonai, your God, who brought you up out of Egypt. Open your mouth wide, and I will fill it.
But my people did not listen. Israel would have none of me. So I let them persist in their stubbornness. I let them follow their own inclinations.
If only my people would listen to me. If only Israel would walk in my ways, how quickly I would subdue their foes and strike out at their oppressors.
Enemies of Adonai shall be humbled. Their downfall shall be unending.
But you I will feed with the richest of wheat. With honey from a rock I will satisfy you. Boker Tov. Morning. Good morning, David. Hopefully everything will be finished today.
that's true, but no, my bigger concern was the